spot. You can roll it.
Okay. Come on, dice. Starting off great.
Now recording.
Okay. I'm at 2
And-
hunger. I failed my rouse.
Okay. Maddie, thank you for coming to this episode of Philly by Night. We have some trigger warnings that we would like to go over before we get started. Please, if any of these subjects bother or concern you in any way, we have a stoplight system of we have a hand stoplight system of red, green, yellow, and blue. We will have that put up in the beta chat that you can symbol, or you can do hand gestures on the video camera. The current session that we are going into may have allusions to genocide, experimentation, and desecration of human remains. Please take these warnings to advice, and more may be added to this list as we go. All right, are we ready to go? Awesome. Maddie, it has been, I'm gonna say it's the next night, because you're very excited to get started on this. It is the next night of right after your coterie session to meet up. That you brought samples back, you have an entire, basically a file that you have made on the people that you've met, the place that you've just been to, and the various things that you have brought back, because you're very diligent in how you work. It is an hour before sundown, but you're in the chantry. So you can walk around, you can meander around, and you're fairly certain that you might run into your sire while you're down here. But not everyone is awake here yet. You and Islington and maybe a couple other Tremere might be awake because of your cleaving to humanity. So what does Maddie do in the first hour before she can really go anywhere, if she plans on going anywhere? Because she does feel that beast, that weird hunger kind of curdle in the back of her throat. This desire to feed, to sink her teeth into something, is kind of crawling along her skin.
Maddie's just gonna try and ignore the feeling. It's still weird feeling this beast inside her that craves blood. She's starting to get not used to it, but like just aware that it's there and accepting that it's there. But she's just gonna kind of ignore it for now. It's not a burning desire to feed. And she literally can't leave to go feed anyway, and she doesn't want to nom on anyone in the chantry. That's weird. So she's already done that before. She's gonna make herself look decently presentable. She's a lot more casual today. She doesn't need to impress any prince or something. Just jeans and a nice blouse, button-up blouse, and pull her hair back in a little kerchief. It reminds her a little bit more of when she was back home in Gouldsboro, and if I'm saying that right, Einar, tell me if I'm wrong. And just, she's ready to do research. She's probably going to be in the dirt today, so jeans, not her nicer academia stuff. And once she looks decently presentable, trying to not spend too long looking at herself in the mirror because she doesn't like that, she tries to go and find Islington because he's often awake before everyone else as well. And she likes having that time alone with her sire.
Okay. So you're going to maneuver through this chantry and go and find where Islington is currently made himself comfortable. or as comfortable as they can be in a place like this. That's a question.
You're muted.
Yeah, he has an office and a place to sleep there. And if she comes and finds him, she probably finds him writing a letter.
Okay. Yes, as you are going along, you would see Jerry kind of the physical areas of the chantry where most people are able to access that aren't completely cut off and private have been cleaned up a lot. It's because he's been able to do this during the daytime as well. There are various little decorations put up. He's even brought in some plants, like some flowers, just to put around because it makes for a better environment. He has some catalogs pulled out to look at various pieces of furniture that they could bring in, and that kind of thing, just to make it more comfortable and easier to study in an area like this. He kind of gives you a friendly wave as you pass, and but doesn't really pull you aside for a talk.
Yeah, Maddie is clearly beelining it towards her sire. She was doing this even as a ghoul. She's like, Islington. And so she just waves at Jerry as she goes on to Islington's office.
Oh. Hello. Come in.
Oh, am I bothering you, Mr. Islington?
Oh, not at all. I was merely writing a friend.
Oh, okay. She comes in, slips in, closes the door behind her, and sits down like he said.
So, how was your first evening with your coterie?
Different?
Yes?
Yeah, different.
Do you like them? Do you get along with them?
I think. I mean, we got along well enough to do what we needed to do last night. Though maybe I don't like one of them.
Oh? What's the matter?
The Ventru Percy, so Cal and I can see in the dark and the other two couldn't, the Ventru, so we were offering to each one of us lead one or the other, and Percy was asked which one of us she wanted to go to. And she didn't say names or anything, she just said, I'll take the gang girl. Which implied to me that she doesn't see us as people, she sees us as clans, and she doesn't like Tremere. She also called me a nerd, under her breath, when I said I liked Homer's Iliad, so...
Well, I have grown to understand that in pop culture now, being a nerd, as they said, is considered something of a positive, first off.
Not in the way she said.
I understand. You will run into that often, unfortunately.
I know. I just don't know what I was expecting. It's fine. I'll make her like me. I think maybe try to get her to like me.
Don't push too hard. But I gave you an assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you observed of this Percy that you were not told.
Pulling up my notes right now so I can accurately do this. Come on, Discord load. Maddie's note. Okay. Well, there's the whole gang girl comment, which, as I mentioned, seems like she sees clan. She was the only one not opposed to us desecrating a grave and digging it up to find out what was going on, which implies to me a lack of respect for the dead for some reason. And she upturned her nose when she was looking at our haven and the sleeping conditions. Mm-hmm. So maybe she's got a the finer taste. Calvin was a bit harder to read, but he seemed, grounded and relaxed and friendly. I didn't get to know too much more. They didn't just tell me. And then Louisa. She didn't care what name we called her by, so maybe a lack of strong identity, or she doesn't actually care what she's called. I don't quite know what that means, but and she trusted me enough to let me lead her through the dark, so that's something. That's what I learned that they didn't just tell me.
What do those things tell you about them?
I think that Percy probably has a typical Ventru upbringing, I think. If she's looking for the finer things in life and is already seeing clan, I would guess. I mean, again, I don't really know that much about Ventru yet. Louisa seems sweet and wanting personal connections, but I mean, she's willing to trust me, which means she either doesn't care that I'm Tremere, or she's more willing to be trusting of people or work with them. And I don't think Cal has. I think Cal's probably younger since he didn't seem to have a lot of prejudices. I don't know though. I could be reading it wrong.
Well, I didn't spend all that much time around them. I did notice a few things that might help you. Your Percy seems to have a rebellious streak. Her etiquette was not proper Ventru etiquette. And she carries herself much more as a person of action. In some regards, she acts more like a Bruja than a Ventru. Much more expressive of physical reality, rather than trying for social maneuvering. Your friend Cal, well, many gangrel are reserved, but I would agree he is young. He hasn't been hardened yet. You'll find that happens to all of us eventually. We become inured to the realities of our existence. You have to actively work against that. Keep that in mind. As far as your friend, Miss Polina, or Pauline, she flinched every time you called me sir. That's worrying. That suggests that authority is seen as a source of abuse.
I also caught herself saying, say hi to Rosie for me, and then she cut herself off and said Rosemary, as if she didn't want us to know that she had a personal nickname for whoever this Rosemary is.
She would prefer a personal relationship with people because she probably is kept from having them in other regards. That's what I can tell you. As to how you use that, try and understand them. This Percy may be dealing with stresses that you don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
I do not train you to be a fighter, though if you want to be, I know people who can.
Not yet, no.
I understand. But I suspect Percy is trained to be a fighter. Expresses themselves physically rather than through social manipulation, which is the Ventru norm. So,
yes, she said she's a fencer. She's been fencing since she was little.
So I would see how she could find more commonality with the gangrel than you. He's probably more physically capable. If you want to find commonality with her, you might ask her to teach you how to do those things.
Yeah. They all seem to be decent at fighting. Louisa can shoot, Percy can fence, and Cal's good with his fists.
You are very smart. I do not say that to flatter you, it's a statement of fact. Demonstrate the value of that intelligence, and I think they will begin to accept that the differences are useful.
I was trying.
But yes, you will always run into people who dislike Tremere for Tremere.
Yeah.
Are you all right?
Yeah. The nerd comment bothered me more than the clan comment.
I would wear that as a badge.
No, I'm no, I know. I'm a nerd and I'm okay with that. It's just the way she said it under her breath kind of reminded me of growing up.
I can see that. You have issues with self-image and self-esteem.
She doesn't say anything at that comment. She just shrinks in a bit more.
It will take time to find your confidence. I had an advantage in some regards. I had a whole lifetime to learn that before I ever became kindred. It may be difficult for you, but you are a brilliant, lovely, kind person.
Thank you.
All right. Now, did you have an interesting mystery to solve? I think that's the order of the day is.
Yes, and she goes through and explains the entire thing that happened, and at the end pulls out the little plant sample. I thought maybe you and Alma could help me, because I couldn't figure out what this was.
You
Yes.
would hear her fully explain the fact that she and her coterie went to a church and its cemetery and found these interesting plants that seemed to move on their own, and that only Cal seemed to be able to fully see through because he had these weird glowy eyes. That they found something like a belt buckle on the inside of it that their shadow seemed to recognize, but she didn't give any further information on it. And that the plants and its vines seem to be growing out further into the shadow and into the shade and into the graves. And she would be showing you, so she brought samples of the dirt and the flowers she was able to pluck.
Yes, this does appear to be something in Alma's line. Given your description, I would lean towards 3 things to look into, outside of her expertise, obviously. She knows plants far better than I do, but it sounds a bit like fae, which are unusual but not unheard of. Also sounds a bit like certain cults. The cultivars and Bahari come to mind.
I mean, I don't know the name of the cult I was thinking of, but I did think of a cult that I don't know the name of, and then I realized it wasn't the same, but I do.
But the behavior of the plant suggests something specific. The fact that it seems to be reacting to your presence without aversion would suggest that it's not Fae. Fae tend to avoid us for the most part.
I think the shadows were the weirdest thing.
Much like a Lasombra.
That was my thought.
Well, once Alma is awake, we can probe her mind for the nature of this plant. She might recognize it, might be able to help you find a solution there. If cultivars or Bahari are involved, you need to be very cautious. They revere a concept of a garden, in much the same as the Garden of Eden. But they see it as holy for Lilith, ultimately. They have an alternate view of origin of kindred and, Genesis, I suppose. But I've never read their holy works, but yes.
You mean Lilith as in the one from Torah, who was Adam's first wife?
Correct.
Has Maddie been told about Cain?
I mean, he would have at least glossed over the Cain origin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
not a whole lot of detail, more like a timeline.
Yeah.
So if I'm understanding correctly, some kindred think we descend from the curse of Cain, some from Lilith?
Sort of.
Okay.
As I understand it, the followers of Lilith believe that that the Lilim are those who are tied to the blood of Lilith, whereas Cainites are those who are tied to Cain, and that you can transform in some manner. There have even been bloodlines of various clans that have suggested that they were, in fact, originally from Lilith. But Lilith
pulls out a notebook and starts jotting things down for her memory.
Lilith appears in the Book of Nod as someone who cares for Cain when he is cast out for killing his brother. There are some suggestions that she is the one that taught him all the disciplines. The rest gets a little more fuzzy depending on your interpretation. He turns away from her in some manner, and the followers of Lilith sort of attribute it to more of an attack at him taking from her, as unfortunately men are all too often apt to do. It is a very female-centric cult, though there are men that are members as well. And it has, as I understand it, a wide range of factions. I haven't spent too much time looking into it, but if they are in the area, perhaps we should endeavor to research them. But, storyteller, how close are we to sunset?
I would say it's about it. Elder speaking and going over these things and dissecting her notes and the like. That you feel that there's a slight calm that comes over your beast as you recognize that the sun has set. And Maddie, you recognize that you're still hungry, and it's kind of nagging at the back of your mind, even though it isn't extremely prominent right now.
You alright?
Maddie, you do have a couple of options. You could go hunt. Or you could go and find that mini fridge that you set up for yourself recently.
Okay. Madeline just makes a face for a brief moment. I'm fine. Shall I meet you with Alma? I'm gonna go, grab
something in the gentry, or do you need to go hunt?
I set up a fridge.
Good for you. Good for you. Yes, please go feed. If you needed to hunt, I was going to offer to help you if you needed company.
Thank you. I don't leave the chantry today, and she just kind of scurries out of it.
So, Maddie, you go back to your fridge. you pull out the couple of blood bags that you have managed to store.
My precious friend.
I don't know why they take so much. Okay. You take the bags from your fridge and you drink them. You just like yourself, and just I imagine you like pour them into like a cup or a thermos.
Yes.
Or you just
I was going with the Gollum bit.
Because I can't imagine.
She's civilized and drinks it like a normal
Maddie's
person.
Maddie's a very neat person. I imagine that she doesn't like getting too much mess.
Yes.
Even if she knows how to move blood from things, it's still a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll drink them and she'll slake herself down to hunger one. And that'll be your dot of herd for the week.
Sounds good.
And then you go and meet up with Alma and Islington?
Yes.
So where are y'all meeting up at for these talks and experiments? Within Change.
I imagine this being an old hospital, there are probably exam rooms that we have access to. So, probably there.
Are you coming to me or I'm being summoned?
Oh,
we should probably go to you because it's plant. I would imagine you've already set up like a greenhouse or something because you love plant.
Yeah, Islington.
I've been let know that the hospital has a garden, but I don't know if I know that yet.
Islington will have gone and knocked on Alma's door to invite her to come take a look at Maddie's latest discovery, in much the same manner as a proud father talking about.
Yeah,
Good evening,
garden
Jonathan.
is something that Serene would probably be the show Alma, because that deserves to happen in character.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that scene.
But yeah, you would meet up in that examination room. And go ahead.
Good evening, Madeline.
Hi, Alma.
So what you got for me then?
Maddie pulls out a jar of dirt and a plant sample. My coterie and I found these things and they're really weird. And she just offers this.
Okay. Almost going to pull out a hospital cart. Some petri dishes from the examination room. And as the scientist she is, she's going to organize the samples of dirt and the flowers. I don't know what this version of this character knows or remembers of past games, but do I recognize this plant?
Not right away.
Any engravings, anything that I might have read?
Go ahead and give me an either intelligence. Are we going at this from a strictly botanical perspective, or are you looking at this from an occult perspective?
Madeline would also explain that like it's not a normal plant because it's glowing, and it was the shadows were weird.
When she mentions that it's glowing, is it naked to the eye, or can I use sense the unseen to see the glow?
Have you tried turning off the lights?
I am turning off the lights then.
Okay.
What do you mean by glow?
There is a faint glow to it. It does have an aura to it from Sense the Unseen. but it also has a faint luminescence to it when you turn off the lights. It seems to shift color like when you look at oil on water.
Like an iridescent sheen over the petals.
Exactly. So
I want to see if I recognize the actual plant.
okay.
It's been found in a cemetery, right?
Yes.
It's been found in
So-
a cemetery, right?
Botanical, so you can either go with intelligence plus science or intelligence plus academics.
Science is better.
If you have
It's
a relevant
botanical,
special.
so I would not be using the specialization biochemistry. I'm a blood surge just because.
Okay.
I failed.
Okay, keep track of your hunger.
There's a lot of dices. Okay. That's a 6.
Nice. So as you are looking at this from, did you go with academics or did you go with
Academics.
science? Okay.
Oh, I went to science. Sorry.
Science. Okay.
Science.
As you are analyzing the samples and looking them over, you would recognize that it does seem kind of similar to a couple of different plants that you've seen. They seem to be like the kind that you will usually grow in bushes that are almost, it kind of reminds you in a way of like kudzu, in a way of how quickly it can grow, but it's also not. And as you are further analyzing the samples, it is the soil seems to have odd markers. There are high levels of iron and protein.
Okay. Has she told me the specifics, like the plant going into the place that they're founded in? Okay.
Yeah, Maddie shares
as you are-
everything.
Yeah, I imagine as Alma is doing this analysis, Maddie is just kind of standing there watching, kind of going on about how what they have happened in order for her to get that. And I imagine that at some point that her words get a little faster, especially as she mentions that the shadows moved beneath the bush.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. The shadows moved beneath the bush, and it has a lot of protein in the earth.
And the plants were going into the graves, but mostly the ones in the shadows, and the shadows of the plants acted weirdly to light. And he was able to grab stuff. Perseus poked a stick in it, and it grabbed it, and then she was able to pull it free. And Louisa took her arm towards it, and it wrapped around her arm, and then she pulled back. And
So it was
back.
sentient.
Yes, it was sentient in some fashion.
All right then. Can I look into my journals and see if I ever read about that aside from previous experiences in different cities?
Well, I'm not going to make you roll to read your journals because you already know it's in your journals. But from what we have discussed of what one would know, she's got a couple of ideas. She just needs to look a little more into what this is. Maybe run a couple of tests on her own. It's not the soil and a flower is not enough of a clipping for her to do like a full analysis.
Extensive research.
Mhm.
Okay. I may have some hypotheses that I can run through. There are a couple of things that might have happened with this specimen. There are a couple of rituals that might have been done to it. There are a couple accidents that might have happened to it. Have you discarded the idea of the Fae? Or are we dealing with kindred-only experiences?
She just looked at Islington. I've never met a fae.
Her description indicated that it did not avoid kindred, which is what I would expect if it were particularly fae related. There are some fae that are willing to deal with this, but they are an exception rather than the rule. Most avoid us because of our innate, I think they call it banality.
Oh, and the roots, they didn't go straight down in the grave. They went, they turned flat, not like a normal.
You mean they stayed on the surface, like grass?
No. Like it went down, and then it pivoted. It didn't just go straight down like normal root.
The way she's describing it, Alma, it sounds like vines are stretching across the ground. And instead of trying to get in the way of where they would get sunlight, they were avoiding it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we have a couple options. We are ideally dealing with some sort of visceral garden, or probably some sort of spilled blood, or even yet an experiment. There are ways for you to create homunculi based out of plants. It all depends on the kindred that is doing it. And you can see, Islington, it's been a while since you last seen her calculating, and you can see that she is in a mix of, this is dangerous, but at the same time, this is very, very, very interesting. Do we have access to the rest of it?
I mean, I know where the cemetery is.
We could do direct observation, though that might be risky. You said the plant was reactive, moving, more active than, say, a plant normally is.
Mm-hmm.
Is it aggressive?
We didn't want to try that. It didn't act aggressive when shown non-aggression. It definitely wasn't normal. Yeah, it moved away when we shined light on it, and the shadows freaked out even more. And
so it directly had an adverse effect to actual light directed towards it. It wasn't just avoiding light.
Yes, it was directly averse against it, and it had an intoxicating smell. We were all able to withstand it, but it was kind of just a
smell.
Do you
just
take
kind of
the flower out of the little bag that she brought it back in?
I would assume that I already taken when you told
Alright.
me I did run some tests. I would assume like I have already messed it.
Have you gotten
Messed
like
with it.
really close to it?
Now I want.
Are you going?
Intoxicating smells. Yes, we're going to pulverize a little bit and see what fumes we can get.
You don't need to pulverize it. You just need to get close. Are you getting a smell?
Better yet, yes, I am getting a smell.
Okay, give me a composure plus resolve, please.
Yes, nice. Can I blood search for it? As I know that it's intoxicating smells, can I get ready for it?
Yeah, sure. Since you were given some warning, you can blood search.
I passed. I am still at 2 hunger.
Islington is standing far enough back.
Composure and resolve?
Composure and resolve.
I lost the dice. I will see what happened in the ground. That's a fail. So it's 4.
Okay. The scent is not very strong, so you're able to resist it pretty easily, but you kind of feel like there's this... It is intoxicating. It smells good, and it smells like you would be walking a little lighter if you had actually either given into it or it had taken you by surprise.
So like a hallucinogen or aphrodisiac sort of attractiveness to it. Okay.
And one of the odd things about it is that it is affecting you directly.
So it's
It
not.
doesn't. You don't need to take this through the blood of someone else. This is
It's kindred
direct.
made.
And it kind of reminds you of some of the other things that you have read of what
Okay.
could be made with kindred blood and plants, but it's not common.
No, it's not. It's...
But this, you have an idea that this isn't as potent as it probably was.
No, because it was cut out of it, so
Mhm.
it loses intensity. Mm.
Could you perhaps plant that in the greenhouse as a
Oh, I would love to.
sample to look from?
Would there be a way for us to grab a bigger sample and transplant it into a pot or something? Or if we grab the whole plant, if we have access to the site? Because this is kindred made, especially. This is not garden of Israel or any odd ritual that you can make. This is blood spilt on soil. We're probably dealing with a mandrake or mandragora, if there are multiple of them.
I mean, it was a giant vine covering the side of the church and crawling across the ground. I don't know if we could grab the whole thing. We
You
could
could
So
grab
it's
probably.
fairly big.
Mm.
So it's fairly big.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't reached the church yet on the inside, but it's climbing up its wall and was definitely spreading all over the cemetery.
I will insist on a certain amount of safety protocols to make sure that no one gets hurt, but I don't see any reason why we can't grab us a sample for growth and experimentation.
We can do that, but as for security measures, I would advise then with this pheromone that it exudes. It's not toxic, it's not going to kill anyone, but it's going to make them lighter, sort of a hallucinogen like, or even, depending on the type of person you are in the mindset, maybe a aphrodisiac, muscular relaxant, something sort of the likes.
Something
give
like a
the happy
soporific of some
feels.
sort.
Yeah, poppy seeds or
I
some
don't know.
sort.
Very well.
But if it takes a lot of area on the church, it's better for you to avoid people coming in, out, isolate the area. It is a healthy hazard for kindred, especially.
All right. Well, I think I haven't had a chance to speak with her about it, but I believe Cyrene has set up some sort of greenhouse here. Perhaps you can borrow a corner. We can harvest a piece, and you have something to work from.
Oh, it would be my absolute pleasure. I did not know that.
Hmm?
It's been a while. I've been meaning to talk to Cyrene since I came back. I haven't had the opportunity yet. Would it be...
I suspect she's actually avoiding me.
I have the same feeling. I
I,
have the same feeling.
I'm
But at the
afraid
same
that,
time, I believe that she's very busy. This place has been in optimal shape so far.
yes, although I think I disappointed her when last we spoke.
Can I insight check Islington?
I think she's just might be avoiding me for avoiding me.
I can. Okay. Wits and insight with my new specialty, Islington.
Resolve plus insight since you're doing
resolve,
it
my
very
bad.
purposefully.
Okay. Resolve.
If you are masking Islington, give me a composure plus subterfuge.
He's always masking.
Of course he is! He was a spy master!
Nice.
Come on, 7 dice, let's go!
Alright. Composure plus subterfuge, yes? Alright.
I'm not gonna spend will because I don't want to risk a messy. So.
Alright.
2 successes.
Alright.
I got 4.
Okay. So what would Maddie be reading off of Islington as that?
Maybe a little disappointment, but not in Cyrene, just sort of a disappointment in general. Like he didn't like how that played out. And it's something he dwells on, but not it's not distracting or anything. It's just one of the, you can tell that he thinks about it for a minute or two before he sort of compartmentalizes it and moves on.
Okay.
Since he's British, physical touch isn't really a thing he does, but Madeline just takes a small step closer, just kind of a comforting presence to her sire.
Now knowing that we have a greenhouse, and I know that some sort of plants can grow, do we have a library here? Can I go into the nuisance one and see what I can find on mandrakes?
You have a Chantry library, and the Nielsen library is.
I can do the Chantry one, no problems.
Yeah, because I don't immediately remember where the Nielsen library is in the city right now.
I think the Philly Public Library is what Einar said in chat.
Yes.
Okay.
Feel free to assist her with her research.
I don't know how y'all doing researchers in Philly. What we roll, how we do it.
Intelligence plus academics. If you have research specialty, yes. Add 2 dice for the Chantry library. And as you are going into the library, you will see the Chantry Ghoul Jerry come in to join you, and you will get an assistance dice from him.
Good evening, Jeremy.
Miss Yara.
Can I use occult instead of academics?
Yes.
Because we're looking into mandrakes specifically.
Yes.
Can I assist? I just looking through books?
Yes.
Is intelligence plus occult then? So, and how many from the library?
2. And you get an assistance dice from Jerry, an assistance dice from Maddie, and if Islington also wants to help you, too.
Sure, Islington will help as well. So 3 extra from her helpers.
For your research party.
A lot of dice. It's a lot of dice. I'm a blood surgeon just for good measure. I pass. And I've emptied my bag of dice into my hand.
Yes.
Yes. This brings back memories.
This brings back a lot of memories.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeremiah.
There's a lot of dice. God help me. Ooh. Okay. I got 12 successes with a crit.
Yes.
I am finding everything in this motherfucking house.
Okay. Give me a minute, because even with the Chantry library, it doesn't have all of the information you need, but it will give you quite a bit, and you will probably find ways to get more information. So I'm mentally putting that together right now. Okay.
No problems.
Maddie, as you are helping, you're finding books, and Jerry is helping you sort through them and put them in the correct order in order to be able to most efficiently get through all the information. And this actually does take you a couple of hours to get through, because as you were finding more information, you realize that there is some more things, and not all the books here are. Should I make a trigger warning for book damage? Yeah. Okay, the faces there.
They are old, I know, but I thought we were being careful.
Y'all are
The
being
poor
careful.
books.
Y'all are being careful. This isn't y'all's fault. This is just what y'all are coming into.
Oh,
That's
okay.
true,
The
maybe
books
damage
are
the
already
books.
damaged. Okay, the books are already damaged.
Look, making the gargoyles was bad enough, but damaging books?
The water damage, no!
Unforgivable.
I am so
Yeah.
disappointed.
It is difficult to read some of the books. There is water damage, there is tearing, some of the spines are broken, some of the parts of the books are missing. So you have to you're finding pieces of information, but not complete things. There is knowledge in here that you wish you had not learned as you are going through these books. And as you are looking at that information, you're kind of compartmentalizing at the moment because you're in research mode. So you're just like, no, that is not what I'm looking for, and you keep going. You don't actually settle and read what that is. But as you will find a lot of information about Bahari blood magic and various other forms of plant experimenting and the ramifications of and experiments that have been done with various plants in the area and that kind of thing. And then you come upon a couple of chapters within a couple of different books about Mandragora and some of the experimentation done with that. But there is a lot of water damage. There's a lot of ripped pages specifically from these sections. And as you are reading them, you find that they are alarmingly simple to make.
Mm-hmm.
They are,
You can create them on an excellent.
and any clan can make them. And there are records of almost all of the clans of Mandragora. But the thing is, as you are looking through these descriptions and remembering what Maddie told you and what you have from these samplings, they don't match. They fit almost perfectly, but this specific, like the characteristics they would take on from like a clan, does not match with what you have been given. This is new, as far as you're aware, or unrecorded.
It's a chimera. Chimera. I don't know how y'all speak that in English. Oh boy. Now that's some interesting thought.
For your crit, you will realize that you probably need to either make one yourself to experiment with it a little bit under a safe area, because your knowledge of botany knows that leaving these out in the wild for them to be around other normal plants with the ramifications of the ecological ramifications and the cross-pollination could be disastrous.
So, remember when I told you we need to close up the church?
Uh-huh.
As of effect immediately.
No, indeed.
Do you understand that? Is it out in the open or is it inside the building?
It's not inside the building, it's outside the church, in a secluded cemetery.
I will send word to the acting sheriff so that she can be aware. And yes, I think we can take
Not
action.
aware, it's urgent.
I know.
Urgent. These can reproduce at a rate you are not aware of.
Yeah.
And as for Regent, and it's rare that Alma refers to you as this, Islington. I need your permission to start some experiments within the chantry.
As long as you provide some safety protocols so that no one accidentally stumbles upon them. I would hate for Jerry or somebody to wander across it by accident. But yes, of course.
Jerry will
Yes.
pipe up. I know better than to go into the gardens.
That is good.
That is very good, Jeremy. And so you got yourselves a biohazard in your hands. But here's the thing. It doesn't match. Not a single clan. It's new. Which either makes it propagated itself from a mixture of accidents that might have happened, or it's been groomed to be that way.
All right. Well, it sounds like a field trip is in order. Let me first notify Benny, and then we'll move forward from there.
If I can accompany, I would love to, but I understand pressing matters are pressing matters. So if I cannot make, send her my regards.
Of course, I'm just going to send her a message. I know she's busy, but one moment. And he'll go over, pick up his cell phone, set it on the table, and begin to type on the table.
Oh, he's using a smartphone. Oh, that's an upgrade.
Yeah.
That's
Maddie
a
just kind of
upgrade. I'm
stares for a
impressed.
moment.
Almost impressed. He's using a smartphone. That come a long way from the Nokia.
Oh, it's still a Nokia, but
It's a smartphone. It has touchscreen now.
Mr. Islington, you can just, if they're meant to be handheld device, you hold it.
right.
Never mind.
And he will shoot off a message to Benny. The plants at the cemetery are an imminent threat.
Urgent.
Urgent.
Not imminent. Urgent.
And we will be investigating further. I'll send that to her, and he'll probably make a point of repeat sending it to the prince, probably, or the seneschal at the very least.
Okay.
And I
Maddie.
will ask Jeremy
Probably the
to
seneschal,
set me up
actually.
to meet Cyrene to see about those plants that we already have in house.
Jerry will make sure to chase down the local siren.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Maddie,
Yes, Kendall.
give me an intelligence plus science.
That's kind of a low one for me, but okay. Can I surge?
You can search. The difficulty is low.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna search for the fun of it.
Okay.
I pass. This is not anthropology, so I do not get my specialty. Come back. Traitor. What's the difficulty I need to pass?
2?
Okay, I got 2 successes.
Yeah. You whenever I say the difficulty is low, it's usually the 1 or 2, and if you don't get
Okay, just
throughout-
wanted
if
to
you don't
check
get-
because I was sad.
don't worry. I will ask if you will spend willpower, or would like to spend willpower if you do certain difficulties.
Okay, sounds good.
If it is narratively appropriate.
Gotcha.
As you are absorbing all of this information, these plants are kindred made. And from what you have seen, from what Alma has been able to gather, and from what all 3 of you have been able to gather, and what you have witnessed, it brings a question to your mind of just how these things would propagate.
Okay.
Are they able to spread on their own? or is it even possible without kindred blood?
Okay. Maddie's gonna quietly pipe up an SAT. I have a question about
Yes,
these Mandragora.
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 Mandragora. If you're into
Mandrakes.
Latin.
I am into Latin. How do they spread? Can they spread by themselves, self-pollination, or do they need kindred blood to be fueled to grow further?
For the creation of it all. Can I go off the text, or do you want to tell me what do I know? Kendall.
You know that the creation involves vitae. You are not entirely sure if they would be able to propagate on their own. From what you've seen and what you've read, the studies have always been fairly enclosed. So them being out in the wild and is very speculative because it has always been perceived as dangerous to leave these kind of plants outside.
Masquerade breaks. So, for the creation of one, yes, it's necessary, the use of kindred vitae. But as it can be groomed, it is unknown if it happens on its own, if it's like a normal plant, or it involves more use of vitae or not, if it's done by simple grafts, or you can plant a seed in a tainted soil. There is unknown forms for it. We would have needed to have it tested out to
It
better
needs
understand those.
it needs kindred vitae, not mortal blood to. It needs
For
to
the
be kindred.
creation,
Mm-hmm.
for the creation, yes. For the maintenance, it's unknown. We needed to test it and come to the conclusions by ourselves. The texts are missing those informations.
ST
But
can. Oh, go ahead.
it would have been very dangerous for this plant to be very old. It would have been a serious masquerade reach. My guess, it's not that old. Otherwise, the city would have been notified by aggressive plants before. Or
ST.
someone has kept it hidden, and very well hidden.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can Maddie make a logical conclusion that the plants are going into graves as a possible source of sustenance? She doesn't know if they're mortals or kindred, but they're going to the graves for a reason.
Yes, that'd be a very easy conclusion for her to reach from, because she kind of already drew that in the code during the coterie session.
Yes.
Even though they are fed vitae, they are plants, and graves bodies supply they're very nutritious.
Well, I already kind of sort of wondered this, but perhaps the plants are growing into the graves in search of nutrients. I just didn't want to dig up and desecrate a grave, but it would probably be useful to get that information. And she just
you
seems
don't
like
need to do that yourself. You can always delegate a task if it makes you uncomfortable. That's why scientists work in teams.
it's not the fact that it makes just me uncomfortable. It's the fact I oppose it morally.
Right.
Desecration of a grave can be a bit of a fresh issue. As an archaeologist, I'm sure you've had to deal with this, though.
Maddie, like, her
Wow.
jaw drops as she gets freaking called out by her sire. Well, those graves are much, much older. They're ancient. These ones seem fresher. And she just kind
How
of looks
old
like a
does it make a
sulking
grave
teenager.
able to be defiled? How old, in your opinion, does a grave has to be for you to
Are you
morally,
doing
consciously light to go and defile the grave?
Are you doing this from a standpoint of scholarship, or are you doing this out of exploitation?
Scholarship.
Then The rules that you are familiar with should apply.
Should be the same as exhuming a body if you're studying medicine.
Maddie just looks like a sulky teenager for a second. She gets called out by her sire and her godmother.
No, he will walk over and put a hand on her shoulder. I understand. But this is a public health risk, as well as a scholarly matter. Yes? Would you agree with that?
Yes. Should get all the information we can to make a reasonable assumption of what is going on to provide for the safety of the city and to avoid a breach of the mask.
Agreed. And you are the right person. You are trained as an archaeologist. You know how to do this with care.
Mm-hmm.
I will make sure that you have the right people around, myself included, if you need it.
I appreciate that. And she just kind of straightens up a little bit, trying to, hide the fact that she was just totally called out. I guess we should gather some tools and then who else should we take with us?
You're the archaeologist. You tell us.
All right, ST, what do I need?
So y'all are going to the cemetery and y'all are going to dig up a grave, or are y'all going to get plant clippings, or
Definitely
you didn't- I need to
Plant
know what
clippings
y'all
for
are
sure.
testing.
The thing. Can I test the thing?
Which thing are we testing?
Because we already established that it exudes pheromones, toxins, and all that things. Can I try the effect that would have with a mask on, so we can at least establish a little bit of safety measure for the
Okay,
kindred
y'all-
handling the plants?
Y'all can like regular masks.
Yeah, but
don't
does it
really
work?
matter. I will say mechanically it will lower the difficulty.
Okay.
Because I'm not giving y'all gas mask.
Not a gas mask, just the thin paper ones.
Just like a regular one. Yeah, that'll lower the difficulty.
Yeah, the ones for the
fast.
labs, not the big
Yeah.
respirator.
Are you my
thing.
mummy?
That's
If
not
you gave
true.
me a gas mask,
Yeah,
I was going to turn to Islington and say that.
Okay.
It would have been very amusing.
So. We're getting clippings. Y'all are going to see how the effect of wearing a mask is around the plants. What else is your intent with going to this cemetery and church?
Well, sounds like we need to dig up a grave.
Maybe not. We should at least catalog what graves it's growing better at. If it's a factor of just light, or if there are
Whose grave it is?
Yeah, if there's something related to the identity of the person in the grave, and if so, check to see if the person is there.
I'll bring my archaeological tools just in case, but yeah, we're going to mostly focus on the graves and not dig one up if we can help it.
Yeah, because the main point is the plant, but if the body is the one that is affecting the plant, then we need the body.
Yes. The thing is, I don't think any of y'all have the athletics to dig up the grave.
I have 2 athletics.
That's why we need a task force.
It'll be a strength roll.
Ooh.
3 dice, let's go!
I mean, among everybody, I don't think we can take Jeremy with us.
Jeremy is a twig!
All of us are twigs!
I mean, trained in athletics, not that strong. Maddie is stronger than Islington. If she's got athletics, I'm not. Yeah,
we need somebody probably.
I will say, y'all can go and do this. I don't think y'all have enough the night to dig up a grave. Because
Sounds
we're
good.
just
Let's
being
not
like
do that.
cataloging hoses first.
okay. Then
We're
y'all
just
will
being like,
be
okay.
cataloging the plants. Okay, got it.
We'll let
Cataloging
Percy
the
dig up a
plants, the
grave during her
grave,
session.
and probably asking someone to dig it up later, like Benny or someone strong enough to do it, because we need to take the whole plant down, because the whole plant needs to go.
Yeah.
Let's just get these clippings in observation.
Yeah.
Where's Ruth when we need her? I want to call up the friendly gangrel neighborhood.
We miss Ruth.
I miss Ruth.
Okay.
It's okay. The crazy Venture's already on it, wanting to dig up a grave with her uncle. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So, y'all get your equipment. Y'all pack it up. Jerry helps you put things away in the SUV, and he gets into the driver's seat. He opens the doors for all of you as y'all are getting in. Sir, ma'am. Very polite, very sweet. And he will wait for all of you to get buckled in, and before he starts driving toward the church and cemetery.
Maddie pulls out her little notebook and she redraws the same belt buckle drawing that she did for her shadow. And she just hands it over to Islington. We found that.
Interesting.
My shadow asked me if I could give her a drawing of that, and I did. She was going to do something with it. I don't know what it means, but it's a belt buckle.
Very showy. It's just very conservative appearance.
The belt buckle is a rose with cannabis leaves around it.
Let's see. I would suggest that we would need more information. But you said your shadow took it, yes?
Yeah, I think she's handling whatever that is, but I thought you should know.
Did she recognize it?
Did she? I don't know if Maddie realized that.
She likely just registered it, but she didn't push.
She seemed to recognize it, but she didn't say much more.
So, most likely belonged to a toreador. And one with an affectation for the subculture related to marijuana usage. Oh, very good.
Yeah, it was hidden among the vines next to the church building.
That's interesting. That's interesting to know.
I find myself wondering.
How did it get there?
No. Better question is, if she recognized it, why didn't she call the sheriff?
I'm thinking on the implication on who did the plant.
I don't know. She dropped us back off at the Coterie Haven, and then she ran off to go do whatever.
I see. Well, that's a mystery that we'll need to poke at over time. I trust you'll find interesting information. But tonight we are collecting samples and getting information about its placement. I would suggest that one possible solution to the problem, if it starts to get out of hand, are sun lamps.
Yeah, it reacted strongly to just our phone flashlights. I imagine UV lights would probably have a stronger effect.
Probably, yes.
Most of them won't affect us most of the time. There are some people who are more susceptible, certainly. But they do generate a bright amount of light, and that might inhibit their growth.
Wouldn't it be kind of suspicious to have a graveyard lit up in the middle of the night, though?
I'm not suggesting it's a good primary source, but if they become a threat, acquiring some sun lamps might be a useful way to deal with the threat.
Okay.
At least this time my company doesn't carry any guns.
Yes, well, I do have one, but
Oh no, they got you too.
I have discovered in the United States it is somewhat suspicious when you don't have a gun in certain places. It's very strange.
Well, this is
Absolutely
America,
barbaric.
sir.
Americans,
Barbaric people.
they are remarkable in many ways, and
I'm right here. She looks very hurt at hearing like slander against Americans.
you are right here, and we are glad of it. But yes, there is a certain amount of culture of the gun in this country.
Yeah. Right to bear arms, Second Amendment.
Quite. I'm pretty sure that's not actually what that amendment means, but let's go with that.
Well, we defeated the British and pushed them out of the country, so...
Yes, you did manage to convince a country on the other side of an ocean that you weren't worth the time.
And the public house system.
Indeed.
As he is driving, Jerry just slowly turns the music up. You hear the jazz slowly getting louder.
Oh no, he's a jazz fan.
Oh no! No! Jerry, no! Save yourself!
Just kind of bobs his head, keeps driving.
Not to worry. I do have a great deal of respect for Americans. They've managed to find a way to survive quite capably without a universal healthcare system. That certainly speaks to their endurance, very least.
We have dental.
You too?
You have dental because I provided for you, dear.
Almost gonna laugh. First laugh you've seen her laugh in years.
For chat, I'm making fun of the British's teeth. I'm not saying that we have universal dental care. I'm just saying at least we have dental as an option.
Yeah.
Madeline is slowly losing this battle. She's not meant for social combat, so she's just gonna kind of quiet down and just kind of sit there slightly salty, surrounded by these freaking Brits.
As y'all continue this banter, the car, Jerry drives you to the cemetery. It's a pretty smooth drive. He abides by most of the traffic laws, most of them, as is any person driving in Philly, because if you abide by all the traffic laws in Philly, the other people around you will get very angry.
Much like Atlanta.
So, he will, and eventually he pulls up into the, like near the parking lot of the church. He has learned to not park directly near any of the buildings that we tend to go to specifically, so that there is no direct association. And he will get out, he will park, he will turn off the car, he'll go around and open the doors to let all of you out, and close them behind you, and go around to the trunk to start pulling out some of the equipment. And he will hand out the masks that Miss Yara asked for to be supplied. Wits and awareness, please, from all of you. Give heightened senses you may
Wits
add.
and awareness.
Yes. Wits
and awareness.
Awareness. Heightened senses. Can I use my specialty concealed objects or no?
No.
Okay.
Huh.
4,
You know, it's
2.
not worth spending willpower on. I got 1 success.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a set difficulty, it's just for how much you're going to see. So 1, 2, and 4. Okay. So it is already dark out, and who of you has heightened senses? Both of you? Okay.
The girls.
No, not heightened senses.
Okay, no heightened
not
senses.
just
Okay,
me.
so you have heightened
I
senses.
got the sensitivity. I got the other one.
Oh,
Which
So
can
Maddie,
I use that?
Hmm?
Can I
Yeah,
use
you can
that?
pop height. You can pop sense the unseen.
Thank you.
I just kind of assume that all of you have that popped right now, considering where you
yes.
are.
What does my heightened senses get me?
Your heightened senses gives you that you're able to see completely clearly, even though it is dark outside.
Fantastic.
Those two are relying on the street lamps,
Excellent.
and there are some nearby because this is a church, and there's usually at least one of those near a church. Because the church has its own lighting, and usually it has a street lighting near it. Islington, as you look around, you see the church. You see the cemetery. You see a big, like, overgrowth, like, along the side of it. And, your sensing unseen will tell you that there is a faint aura to it. That is what you get with 1 success. Maddie, you see everything that you saw with your coterie. Nothing has changed. From what you can see looking around, it does not seem like anyone has come here to try and rob any graves. Yet.
Yet. Emphasis on the yet.
It's only been a night. There doesn't seem to have been any rifling with it. It is left exactly as y'all have left it. It seems like maybe the sheriff and any of the reports that your shadow might have made have not completely gone through yet. But then again, it's only been a night, so sometimes it takes a little bit, considering how much there is in this city. Alma, you would see the church, the graveyard, the various trees, the overgrowth that is near the wall of the church. You have sense the unseen, so you would see the faint aura around the plants. And with your 4 successes, you would see that it is moving. Like the vines are kind of shifting. Like that
Actively.
It's not moving away. It's not moving toward you. It's just moving where it is.
So it's moving alone without external stimuli or anything like that.
You can't really tell from this distance.
Okay.
It's either something is moving inside of it, or it is moving itself.
Okay. Interesting. Shall we? Let's go.
Okay. Jerry will be following behind you. He already has his mask on. He is looking around. He's got his his phone up, but he's got the brightness turned all the way down, so it's just enough for him to see, but enough to shine light on things.
Maddie kind of takes the lead since she's already been here before, and because she can actually see without the light, she guides them through towards the cemetery, and being careful to not get near the plants. She makes sure she puts her mask on and just doesn't touch anything yet.
Okay. Are you speaking, Banshee?
No, I'm talking to myself. I'm sorry.
Okay. So, all of you are here. Do you take the lead on attempting to get clippings, Maddie?
No, I'm gonna let Alma do this. That is her
You're-
specialty is plants. I'm just here to help.
Alma, are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to see about teaching this young fledgling?
I am going to teach the fledgling.
All right,
Okay.
let's go.
It's your moment, baby. Let's go. I'm going to point to you where to cut, where to unearth the roots, best place to snip the leaves, how to not break down the petals of the flowers while you're handling one of them, and not to spread pollen all around.
She's paying very close attention.
Do you want me to roll anything, Kendall?
No, but you will be providing an assistance dice once I figure out what I'm going to make her roll.
If I go from a scientific standpoint, can she roll science if she has?
I have
Or
science.
academic because I'm teaching.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this at the angle of do that. Maddie, give me an dexterity plus academics, please. And you may have an assistance dice.
I don't get to add my
Alma.
archaeology specialty, do I?
Nope. If you were digging up
Okay.
caves, maybe.
Okay, specialty die from Alma. May I blood surge?
You may.
Pass. Hey! Let's go. 6 with a crit.
Very nice.
Maddie
Very
is
nice.
good student.
And I'm a good teacher.
Yes, Alma's a very good teacher. So as you are you pulling up like a sample from the roots, or are you taking a clipping?
Both?
Both?
Okay.
If I can take a clipping with a root, like a little bud of something. You know those baby plants that you buy in the nursery that has a root and like 2 leaves?
Yeah. It takes a little looking for you to find part of this plant that isn't entirely connected to the rest of it. So you both of you get very close. So I'm gonna need a composure plus resolve from both of you, please.
Okay.
You're wearing your
Yes.
masks. It does not give you any dice, but it will look difficulty. And I imagine
4.
Islington is just kind of watching, but from a slight distance. 4? Good.
Yeah.
Can I blood surge as if I'm holding my breath?
You
Also just taking in the whole scene, like sight lines. He's trying to get a perception of the whole environment rather than concentrating on what they're working on.
Gotcha. Okay. You may blood Selma because you were given a warning.
It's wow, it's a 7 with a crit, and I didn't blood surge.
Okay. Well then, Alma, I'm not gonna make you roll for the rest of the scene because of that crit. Maddie,
Used to work in the fallen.
What?
You both are you get a boom of the smell as you get close to it, but it does not take on that intoxicating effect with either of you.
Okay.
And I was saying, I'm not gonna make Alma roll for the rest of the scene because of that crit. For the to resist this, so she's able to get in there without having to make the roll again.
Is the plant aggressive once we cut it?
As you are digging up the small, the little one, and you are just you would notice that Maddie is handling it fairly delicately. She is pulling it out whole and she is not directly cutting it. It is in a way almost like she is... What you have noticed from what you have known about Maddie is that she is very human. She is very young. So she seems to be behaving with a certain amount of empathy toward this plant since she has registered its sentience. So as she is gently tugging the plant out, it lets out another plume of pollen and smell into her face, that she manages to resist the effects, but it doesn't seem overtly hostile from the way that it is currently being handled. There seems to be a couple of the vines from the main plant that kind of grip around it for a moment and then loosen as you delicately move it to other place. Do you try and get a clipping off of the main plant?
If we can, it would have been advisable. But
Okay.
as I just want a flavor, while Maddie is handling the plant like this passionate little thing, almost gonna throw Islington a look that says, "My gosh, where did you find her?"
As you are going to handle the plant, it kind of... How does Maddie go in to take this clipping? Is it scientific? Is it gently? Is it with a certain amount of alacrity?
Gently. She saw this thing grab a stick that Percy poked it with, so she's a little bit wary of how it'll react if she's aggressive with the clipping. She felt lucky she got a clipping earlier last night, so she's just gonna be really gentle getting a clipping in, because this thing is alive. Like alive.
I have an idea. Ah, what is pinging me? As...
Actually, Maddie's
Yeah.
even gonna like talk to the plant. She's gonna just be weird for a moment and be like, "I don't mean you
Hey,
any
excuse
harm.
Excuse me, can I take this for a little moment?
I just
Okay.
wanna know what you are. I don't mean you any harm." Yeah, she goes freaking nerd mode.
Give me a charisma plus science.
That's my baby.
Can I add stunning?
This plant does not think you're pretty.
That's so rude. Just because I don't have chlorophyll.
Yeah, you're not
Yes.
green enough.
Charisma and what did you say?
Science.
My
Does
blood
the plant
surge.
has
You may blood
reflection?
surge.
Like,
No.
Fail.
Would you like to see if it does? Would you like to see it through the camera of your phone?
if the plant has a reflection, if I can, yes.
Yes. Does Alma have a smartphone?
She does.
Okay. You lift up your phone, you put it on camera mode, you are able to see it.
Okay. So it doesn't interfere with technology.
Nope.
So La Sombra out of the question.
4 successes?
And I got hungrier.
Okay, so you are at hunger 3?
2.
2.
Because I fed off my little fridge herd.
Yes. Okay. As you are just very gently talking and handling this plant, it kind of... Alma and Islington, y'all would witness this plant kind of reaching out to touch Maddie back, as she is kind of reaching to hold on to part of it, and with a pair of very small shears to get this clipping.
I want a mandragora.
It kind of reaches out and it touches her. It wraps up the side of her arm, but it doesn't... There aren't any thorns. There doesn't seem to be any bristles along it, and it doesn't seem to be digging in. It just seems to be holding her, feeling her, like it is assessing what she is and whether she is a threat or not.
Islington will probably start forward when it reaches out and starts to grab her, but he holds himself back when it's clear it's not actually hurting her. And just
Impressive,
walk.
aren't they?
And you will hear her very gently speaking to the plant. And as you clip, give me another composure plus resolve.
Okay.
You do not get the blood surge.
That's fine. I wasn't going to ask.
Alma is so very happy and enthralled by this plant.
5?
5.
Jesus. There is a, it doesn't seem like it's aggressive, but there is like a spray of, liquid that comes from inside of the plant. It is darker than normal water that would normally come out. But you do manage to get that clipping, and the plant starts to physically recoil.
From me?
Yes.
Yeah, you heard it.
Maddie carefully puts the sample away and then, like, gets, like, a Q-tip or something and, like, wipes the goo off her face and puts that in a sample.
That's very good.
And she just kind of now that she's got a sample, she kind of wipes the rest of it off and steps back from the plant.
It isn't a whole lot of spray. It was just enough that came out of a little bit of the vine. It was mostly on your hand.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever.
Like, so you could have just bagged her. You could have just bagged your glove.
That's perfect. That's what she does. So it seems it has some sort of defense mechanism.
Indeed. Perhaps. It grows along these graves. Is there any commonality to the graves? Like, are they all from the same family, or anything beyond just location?
Give me an intelligence plus investigation, please.
Can I assist?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, that'll do. 8 with a crit.
Very nice, very nice. I don't have a whole lot to give you, so that investigation roll will continue for the rest of the scene. As you are looking at the graves, there seem to be a couple of family plots, a couple of couples plots. Some of them are singular. They all seem to be human graves. They don't seem to be to any particular family. They seem to be the ones that they are particularly drawn to. Seem to be the ones that are more like recent burials within the past couple of years. But it doesn't seem supernatural on the surface.
Maddie. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Based off of like the distribution of how the plants are distributed amongst the graves and how wide and broad the growth gets, can he estimate where it started?
Ooh.
To a degree. As he is getting closer, he'd be able to see kind of like the main part of the growth of the plant. And I will need a composure plus resolve from Islington, please.
Does this count as a thing trying to influence his mind?
You can add your dots from fortitude if you have unstable mind.
Okay, can I add the dots I get from the other thing
What other
that
thing?
protects us? The ring?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You have the ring. You still have the ring. Oh, you lying bastard.
Yes, he is. All right.
That's my sire.
Okay. Well, I've got another crit. So, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 with a crit.
Very nice. So that roll will remain with you for the rest of the scene, and you have to roll again to resist the effects. You are, as you get closer to the plant, you smell that your senses are kind of very briefly overtaken by the smell, and you can almost taste it. This pollen, this hallucinogen that comes off of this plant. But you are able to very quickly recontrol and reassert your own control over your mind. And the influence doesn't seem hostile. As you're looking, you will see deeper into the plant, you will see more of these ripples of that oil on water iridescence that seem to come out from the blooms. And the darker they are, they are further part of the main plant. And that is where he would likely assume is where it started.
Okay. He will direct the attention to Alma and Maddie. Can you determine, based off of the size of this and its location, how long this has been growing?
Knowing that the blood can also affect fully grown plants, is it possible, Kendall?
Depends. It's not something that Alma would know immediately, because she doesn't have a whole lot of hands-on experience with Mandragora.
Mm-hmm.
And from what she's read, they didn't take the best of notes in that specific regard.
No. Unfortunately, not so much. What we can go about is how long has people taken notice of it, to at least know when it was made. If any graveskeeper or security guard saw anything unusual as it, or the last person to visit the graves. So at least know when it might have appeared.
We may want to get some assistance before doing such, but excavate this particular point, and he points to where he thinks it started, and see if there's anything underneath there that is relevant.
I have a conspiracy theory. Is it possible to bury a kindred and that would generate a mandragora? If you torpor a kindred and you bury it. Because depending on the blood potency, it can affect the soil around it.
From what Alma would know about kindred and their physiology, it is possible to torpor kindred, bury them, and it's theoretically possible.
Yes, it's a theory.
While Islington was investigating where the possible origin of the plant was, Maddie was going to every single grave where the plants had started to invade. She wrote down the name, she wrote down birth and death date, and other noticeable details on the grave, so that way she'd go research it later, just to see what she can find about these people, because maybe there's a common thread in the records instead of the actual graves.
Okay.
None of the
Jerry will
graves
kind of-
there in the point where it's more intense. Like how fresh it is, that grave.
It seems like that this plant has not fully gotten into the graves yet. Like it is just
Okay.
reaching them
Mm-hmm.
for what it needs. So honestly, the plant, from what you can assume and from what you can see, it seems new. But since it is this size and you would consider it new, the growth rate is alarming.
Yes, it can grow a lot. There are a couple plants that can do that.
It has occurred to me that, again, we don't want to attempt this ourselves. We need to have people assist. If we dug up the spot where we think it might have started, if it wasn't growing out of a stake,
Anything with kindred vitae theoretically would be enough for that. Kendall,
you-
Alma wouldn't know the specifics of each clan at least a little bit to try and pinpoint which characteristics the plant has. Like, oh, it has this from maybe this clan, or this maybe from this clan.
As she is looking over this, she is becoming more and more affirmed to what I realized earlier with the small sample that Maddie brought in, and for what she was able to research. This is definitely Mandragora.
Yeah.
But this does not match any of the clans listed. This does not match any of the characteristics of the samples that were previously taken in order to make Mandragora.
Okay. So no way of trying to pinpoint which clan might have been the person to do this.
There are just guesses that she could make, but nothing concrete.
We can guess a Toreador because of a belt buckle and alluring scent type of shit. Other than that, not much. Panchi has the theory of a Vulgari, maybe? I don't know how
the
city
Sombra
works.
for the shadows.
Yeah, but it doesn't interfere with technology, so no Sombra. Maybe Hakata. Oblivion.
That would fit with the graveyard.
So, Mr. Zinnian, are you possibly theorizing that someone with a very strong blood potency is there? And she just points at where the plant origin seems to be.
No,
Maybe.
willingly.
Maybe. It's a thing to check, I suppose. But I do not think we are equipped to be doing that on our own. We should have a more active group.
No, and we are getting close to sunrise with an hour, so.
Yes. We should get back to the Chantry. You've done an excellent job of investigating this mystery. I'm confident that you and your coterie will do quite well in the future. I'm working on this. And I've already sent word to the sheriff and the prince that this is potentially a threat.
Thank you, sir. And she's just glowing with pride and getting, praise from her sire.
And, Alma, thank you as always. It's a pleasure.
Always a pleasure.
Let's get back to the Chantry. I'm sure that there are plenty of things to address still this evening.
I'm gonna make a mandrake.
And
can I watch?
Sure. We just need to find Cyrene to lead me to the greenhouse.
Very good. I have a letter to finish.
Okay. So, and Jerry would come up to you. I can come by here tomorrow and see if I can get some of the church records of the people that were buried here, if you'd like.
That'd be great, Jerry. And she just hands him her entire list of every single grave she wrote.
He'll take it. And he will take all of the supplies and kind of sling them over into the neatly sorted bag onto over his shoulder. Then he'll go and take it to the trunk of the SUV.
Be very careful about any investigations you do here. Make sure that you don't do anything that might put you at risk.
Oh, I'm not going to touch any of the plants, but I can handle people fine.
Very good.
But he will, and then after saying that, he will gently take the samples and put them into the car. He is wearing garden gloves.
Smart man.
Well, I think that is enough excitement for one evening, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
As to your friends in the coterie, you'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll find commonalities with each of them. But listen, let them tell you, because they will, who they are.
Mm-hmm. I actually decided I was gonna take up learning Italian, because that's Luisa's native language, and maybe I should learn another language too. Maybe one of the ones that you know.
Certainly, I can assist you with that. Perhaps something along the lines of language to help you learn how to read that fragment you have.
I'd love that.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right. So you all pile back into the SUV and head back to the chantry.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Maddie, do you go and go up into the part that is like the main part of the hospital to get some food?
Yeah, I should probably do that so I don't go to bed that hungry.
Do you take someone to keep you
Yes,
company?
yes. I grab my sire and let him know that I got a little hungry and please help me. I'm baby.
So,
Okay, since y'all are doing this in the hospital, I'm not gonna make you do your usual roll. I'm gonna make you roll an intelligence medicine.
Shoot, I don't have any dots in medicine. Let's go.
You get
Do I
an
get an
assistance dice from Islington.
Okay. Come on! That's a messy crit. I can't roll out of it.
Was it on both your hunger dice?
Yes, I can't roll out of it! I got 5 successes, messy crit.
This is why you bring Islington along, to keep you from doing something that will be a problem.
Why do I keep getting messy crit?
Okay.
Even my real dice are hungry.
Okay, I know what I'm doing with this. Maddie, as you are... Islington is keeping watch to make as his way of assisting you. As you are going into the area where they store blood bags, you catch an intoxicating smell, and it's not like what you have been dealing with all these days. It's the scent of a kind of blood that you have never really smelled before. It's even more intense than the first time you fed off Jerry.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And you are suddenly hit with this unshakable hunger for more than just a bag.
Dang it.
You look around. Islington's still watching the door. Do you go and pursue the smell? I am hitting you with the hunger compulsion, by the way.
With the what compulsion?
Hunger.
Would you argue that this is hidden knowledge to Maddie because she's never had this before? So I'm wondering if maybe
I
I'm gonna lean
wouldn't
into
say
that.
that. I don't. Considering how acquainted she is with blood, and how acquainted she's going to be with blood, and what the context for using hidden knowledge in, I don't think her flaw applies here.
Okay.
But you are being hit with a different compulsion.
Okay. Hunger.
They can be resisted, but you are also a baby.
I am baby. She's gonna look at Islington, and then look at the bag.
He is outside watching.
Oh,
to
he's
make sure that you are
outside.
caught.
Shoot.
He's near the room, but
Yeah.
he is not directly watching you. He's watching out for you so that you can get away with stealing things on your own. This is as much hunting as it is a learning experience.
You could find Jerry.
But this smell, it
The
is
smell.
completely different from Jerry, and it is so intoxicating.
I think Maddie's gonna try and resist. She's actually gonna plug her nose to see if that even helps. But at least like the action will like help her like remember like don't think of that. Like you got the goods, get out of there. So she's gonna try and resist the compulsion.
Okay. She can try. So you continue to go toward where they are keeping the blood bags locked up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you go about getting them?
I have a single dot in larceny.
Okay.
Um,
So as you are assessing where they are keeping them, give me an intelligence plus larceny.
okay. Oh boy, Maddie. This is how we're gonna end this. Two successes.
That is the difficulty I'm looking for within the hospital. Because it is because it is basically y'all's property, but it's still gonna have wavering difficulties.
Mhm.
You look at it. It requires a key card.
Oh, dang it. So I need a key card to get in here.
Yeah, if you can see that the way that is locked up, that it is an alarm would go off if you tried to get.
Yeah, don't want that. I guess Maddie is going to use heightened senses to try and find a person with a key card and probably use cloud memory.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a wits and investigations.
Concealed objects don't count?
I would say they do, since you're looking for something specifically that wouldn't be immediately observable. But this didn't realize that was an investigation, not your awareness.
Yeah, it's my awareness specialty.
I asked for investigation.
Oh, sorry. My bad. My brain. Investigation. That yes, not awareness. Really me. And then 2 die for heightened senses. Okay. Okay. 2. I have 3. Do I need will?
That's enough. Especially since I didn't make you a penalty. Because it's leading you straight toward that smell.
Oh boy. Okay.
As you start to investigate and look into where this smell would be coming, not the smell, but looking for a key card in order to open up the place where they lock up the blood eggs, you kind of subconsciously lean toward where the smell is coming from.
Oh boy. Okay.
You, it is strange. It is incredibly intense. Normally, you don't smell blood like this. But you will see, they, like, a nurse that is kind of just, like, sitting off to the side, patching herself up. It looks like she might have been working in the ER a little earlier and went off to the side so that, and this is Philadelphia. She might have got stabbed by someone and is trying to not be an inconvenience. You can see her basically kind of just stitching herself up, and she kind of looks up, like, wide eyes, just like, hi, what are you doing back here? And that smell.
Gosh, no. Frick. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you. I just a bit turned around back here.
Okay, how did you get all back here? Are you okay? She kind of just looks you over.
Oh no. This is so bad. Frick. Oh, I'm fine. I was just I'm looking for something and just got really turned around. I'm so sorry to be bothering you.
You're not bothering me. Do you need directions on how to get further out? As you are looking her over with your investigation check, you would see that there is a key card that is kind of tucked behind her ID. It's on like a lanyard.
Shoot. Maddie doesn't know what she's doing. How strong is this scent of blood? Just so strong, just enticing.
It is incredibly enticing, and it is the strongest. It is more intense than any other kind of blood that you've ever smelled. Because you usually don't smell blood like this. You have heard of you know people. You have been informed by your sire that there are people who can smell these kind of intensities and what they're called resonances. It was a brief overview. You probably need to study a little more up on it to fully understand it. But this is more than you have smelt before. Kind of moves a little bit, kind of puts like a bandage over like the spot where she was like stabbed / cut. You can't really tell right now. It's way too distracting for you to try and discern the difference. And she kind of makes a movement toward you. There's a very gentle look about her. Sweetie, do you need the help getting back to the waiting room?
Are you okay? And she kind of glances down at the woman before looking back at her eyes, and Maddie doesn't know what she's doing. She's just hearing this hunger, and she doesn't know what she's doing. She's like, no, I need the key card. But the blood, oh my gosh, the blood. That's just kind of what's running through Maddie's head right now.
That's very sweet, but this happens. Unfortunately, it happens way more often than you think. Not everyone responds well to waking up from anesthesia.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, I could I could use some help. And she just kind of stands there, too scared to move towards this nurse. She's like, I need the key card. But oh my gosh, that blood. Oh my gosh, what am I doing? What am I doing? What is going? No, bad Madeline. Matt Elizabeth Clark, what the frick are you doing? No, that is a person.
The nurse is going to run an insight check on you. Would
Oh
you like to
gosh.
roll a composure plus subterfuge?
Yes, can I add ingenue?
Yes, but it will make your difficulty higher.
Oh. My difficulty?
Yes, your difficulty. Well, it will make. Never mind. Yeah, you can add the ingenue. Just go ahead.
Okay. You wanted what from me? Composure and subterfuge?
Yes, composure and subterfuge, please.
And then how much does pinned it in my chat somewhere? Ingenue. Add 2 dice rolls. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, Maddie, what is going on? Okay. Can I spend a willpower?
Have you spent any yet? I mean, yes, you can always spend willpower, but I can't.
I've spent 0 willpower today.
Okay, you can spend a willpower.
This is not good. I got a 1. 1 success.
Okay.
I'm trying, Jeremiah. Stop judging me like you're actually my sire.
The nurse will get a couple closer to you. There's a worried look on her expression. She doesn't know why you're behaving.
Why not?
I need a minute now. How dare you? Okay. There is a worried look on her expression as she takes a couple of steps closer. She kind of glances around. You have come to a very quiet part of the hospital. You have separated yourself from other people, and there's her brow furrows. It's almost maternal as she looks at you. Are you okay? Is there someone out there that is trying to hurt you? Do I need to call the police? Do you need help?
No. I'm fine, thank you. I'm just really confused. How close is the nurse to me right now?
She is just outside, just barely inside of your personal space. She seems like young. You might have been embraced in your late 20s, but ingenue makes you look a little younger and a little wider-eyed. And from what you can tell, up closer, this nurse looks like she is late 30s, early 40s. She probably has kids.
Why would you say that? Ow, Kendall.
But all you can think about, you recognize all of these features about her, but the most prominent one about her is that blood, that smell.
I'm so sorry. I'm just a little overwhelmed and confused, and and she just kind of puts her head in her hands, trying really hard not to look at this delicious smelling person. Madeline just looks like she needs a hug right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's what the nurse is going to do. The nurse is going to put her hand on her shoulder and just kind of gently tug her in. It's okay, sweetie. It's like a half hug, very gentle, rubbing her hand up and down your back. Do you have anyone we can call? I know sometimes the hospital can be really overwhelming. you have like a parent or cousin, sibling, friend?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Just give me a minute. This woman is right there. Her neck is right there. Maddie is trying so hard to resist right now, but it's right there. If she doesn't look up, maybe she won't do it. Maybe she won't do it, but it's right there. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, she is hungry. She's so hungry right now, and it's right there. It's just right there. This is so much easier than getting the key card from her and then having to return it. It's right there, but no, we don't eat off people. No. This is just all going through her head.
This smell is intoxicating. And you're right, she is right there. But you can resist all you want, but you have not moved. Do you actually want to resist? Or are you trying to find excuses not to?
Islington's not in the room with her. Islington kept her from killing Jerry last time. Islington's not here to stop her from doing that. She doesn't want to kill someone, so she is going to try and resist. She is intoxicating this blood is. She does not want to kill someone on accident because she doesn't know her own strength.
Okay. As you are moving, you don't move away, but the nurse kind of very gently, she kind of tugs you a little closer and starts to move you. You can tell that she's having a little trouble maneuvering herself because, well, she did just stitch herself up. But she seems to be a very composed woman herself. She starts to guide you out of the room.
Oh dear. Maddie, tries to drag her feet. She doesn't get near more people.
She kind of stops and she gives you another worried look. She won't pull you out of the privacy of the room that y'all were just in. Are you sure you don't need me to call someone for you? Now she is right up in Maddie's space right now. There is an intensely worried, maternal, caretaking look about her. Because with Maddie's level of insight, even with this hunger taking over, Maddie knows that hospitals can be used as safe havens for abuse victims. And there are a couple of red flags that this nurse might have incidentally picked up on.
Maddie is going to step back from her and lift her head up. Not looking like she's running away or anything, but just trying to see the nurse eye to eye instead of so close. And she's gonna make sure she's gonna see how the nurse reacts to that before she does anything else.
She'll meet her stare.
Okay. Maddie has very rarely called upon the powers of the blood so far. She's only about a month old, but she's panicking. She does not want to accidentally hurt somebody and is intoxicated with this. She doesn't want this. This is what the beast wants, not what Madeline wants. And she's going to attempt to use cloud memory on this woman and run the frick out of there.
Okay. How does she go about doing that?
I'm so sorry. Thank you. Your kindness means a lot, but it's probably best if you forget about this. And she holds her gaze that entire time and tries to make cloud memory happen when she says the word forget, because that's what her sire taught her. Is you say forget, look in their eyes, and they just forget.
You say the sentence, you say the word. You feel your blood kind of rumble, but not rouse. and you watch her eyes unfocus.
Okay. Getting the frick out of there. Going back to her sire. Forget eating right now. Nope. Need to get out of here. While she
Dex
still
plus
doesn't.
athletics, please.
Okay, can I search for this? Wait, no, I probably
Yeah.
shouldn't search.
You can search.
Me? I'm gonna search. We'll risk it for the biscuit. She needs to get out of here. I pass! Okay. Dex at athletics, let's go. Four successes.
Very nice. You get out right within the window that the dominator is still taking effect. Her memories raise the last 10 minutes. You do not get to dislike your hunger, but that compulsion is there. And I mentally subtracted 2 of your successes, but 2 successes still does it. Because you're resisting your compulsion. Go and find Islington. And I'm guessing you
Yup.
kind of just harry him back down to the chantry.
Yes. Yep. Let's go, old man. I can't be around here. No, let's go. Sire, please, help. She's just hurrying.
You can unmute.
Sorry. Forgot I had muted. He will comfort her. It's all right. I think I have something in the refrigerator. That should be able to help you with that hunger. Yes?
She looks like she's about to cry.
He will give her a brief hug, over the shoulder hug, kind of. It's all right. You'll be fine. And
I wanted to eat her.
Yes. Well, perhaps we should be spending some time working on lessons on how to deal with that. We are what we are, and sometimes we will feed on people. Let's get into and he'll take her into the chantry before continuing the rest of that discussion. So that we're away from prying ears. He's like, once he's got her simply safe. While I prefer to be a bagger myself, I have fed on people before. You will do it again. You need to get more comfortable with the idea of it and using your abilities to help you cover up those times when you have to. Do we need to work on this?
So good. I was afraid if I bit her, I wouldn't stop. You weren't there. I wiped her mind like you taught me, and then I just got out of there without eating. But I was afraid I wouldn't stop. But if I started.
Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, it is a thing that you have to choose to do. Even if you get particularly hungry, it takes work to actually drink enough to kill them. Bear that in mind. The experience is, well, you remember when I embraced you. That feeling, that initial feeling, is what they all feel when you bite them. So it is not unpleasant. As long as you are careful, close the wound, make them forget, it doesn't harm them that much. Obviously, you prefer being a bagger. I do as well. But you need to work on being able to do this comfortably so that when you need it, you can without hurting someone.
I am afraid I don't know my own strength, the strength of the beast.
Then we will work on this. Next time you feed, you'll feed on a person. And I will make sure that you are safe. Alright?
Yes, sir.
Now, I'm still very proud of you. You controlled yourself enough to remove yourself from a situation you were unsure of. You've done very well this evening. Relax. Very good. You did well tonight. What would you like to do for the rest of the evening?
I wanted to watch Alma make the mandrarica.
Then let's get you over to where she's working. Okay?
Okay.
She would appreciate having someone to teach. You're going to be alright?
Mm.
Good. And he will guide her off to where Alma is working.
Okay. And with that, we will wrap up the session. I will dismiss the bots.